I'm gonna do my best to get through this without being too emotional. So this isn't a video I thought I would be making ever. I guess no one really does. But we had a miscarriage of our third pregnancy this past week. Actually, so today, the day I'm recording this, it is the Friday after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday. And I miscarried on Wednesday morning. And my dog is keeping me company, apparently. Are you here to lighten my spirits? If you hear noises like that in the background or clicking, it's our heater. It's also raining outside, so anywho, there may be some background noise. But my point, it would be really easy to keep something like this totally private. Not many people even know as of the time I'm recording this, but it's a really lonely situation. And my hope is that in sharing my story, someone who has nobody around them who can understand or support them will maybe be able to watch me share my experience and know they are not alone. You hush your mouth. You are not alone. This sucks, but you're gonna be okay, and I'm gonna be okay. And that's my hope in sharing this, is that if one person finds this and has hope after watching, that's my goal. So, wow, I did not think I was gonna be this emotional talking about this, but anyway. So, I'm just gonna kind of walk through our story. Really? And share how our experience was, and then hopefully just share a little bit of hope with you. So, obviously, you already know by the title of this video and my intro that we had a miscarriage with our third pregnancy. So, I'm gonna back all the way up and just go through it all. But back when, so I have a son who will be 4 next month, and then I have a daughter who was just turned 1 in October. And back when our daughter was a few months old, we decided that we were going to give our childbearing years over to God. It's already in his hands, really. Nothing is out of his hands, but just trust him that he will send us children when he's ready and when he sees fit, and not try to take matters into our own hands. So since she was probably about 5 months old, because I vividly remember thinking I was pregnant when she was like 5 months old. So probably since she was about 4 or 5 months old, we've just not prevented pregnancy. I don't know how else to say that. And so I got my cycle back when she was about 11 months old, if I remember correctly. No, she was like 9 or 10. Anyway, I had had about 4 cycles back already. And I remember thinking, you know, what if I don't, my family is very fertile. We like think about getting pregnant. We want to have a baby, and then boom. Usually most of us can get pregnant. So I really expected that as soon as I got my cycle back, I would get pregnant with another baby. And so that didn't happen. 4 months or so came and went, and I really was like, I remember texting my friend thinking and telling her, you know, I'm kind of concerned. I thought I was fertile myrtle here, and I still haven't gotten pregnant. And she assured me that, you know, so this particular friend has a whole lot of kiddos, and she said sometimes it takes a little bit for things to balance out. It'll be okay. Literally within a few days I found out I was pregnant. I didn't really have any reason to believe. I've always tracked my cycle based on, am I gonna have to put you in your bed? Days, you know, on the little tracker app, but nothing like, no temperature, no ovulation test, any of that. So it was always a guesstimate. I knew roughly when I had ovulated, and I didn't think that there was a chance that we had gotten pregnant this month. We weren't trying to get pregnant. We were not trying to get pregnant. But there have been a few months already. Okay, you're gonna get kicked out of the video if you don't hush your mouth. There were a few months where I really thought we were gonna be pregnant, and so we weren't. And this month I really didn't think there was a chance, but I remember it was late at night and I told my husband, Ryan, that I was going to run up to the store. He had already fallen asleep on the couch. I was like, I'm gonna go buy a pregnancy test. And he was like, okay. And so I went up to the grocery store and I bought one of the blue dye ones and I took it and I thought, okay, there is like, I think possibly, this was like 2 days before my missed period, or maybe, no, this was the day my period was due. That's what it was. And I didn't feel any sort of way other than like, I thought extreme PMS, but I was not like thinking I was pregnant. So I took the test and I thought there was like a super faint line, but almost like it could be in my head for sure. And so I showed him and he's like, I don't think that's a line. So the next day I went to the Dollar Tree and I bought some of those like quick, you know, when I worked at the health department, they were the tests we used on our patients, maternity patients. So I bought some of those. I came home. I had also gone to the thrift store that morning and I came home and I took the test. And again, like the world's faintest line. So I went out with my son later that afternoon because he had been really upset he couldn't go to the thrift store with me. But I was going to look to see about like Christmas presents and stuff. So I told him we would go out and get a cake pop later. So I ran into Walmart and got some of the digital, that's our heater kicking on, some of the digital tests because with all of my, with both my kids, I needed to see the word pregnant to really think that I was pregnant. So I went and got it. I brought it home. I hadn't even told Brian that I had bought the digital test. I just came inside and took it. Okay. And lo and behold, it said pregnant. So I took it out to him. And it was kind of a shock to him because he didn't really think that the line, there was a line on the test I got the night before from the grocery store. So, you know, my son ran out to him. He didn't know what he was handing him, but he handed him the test and it said pregnant. And so, I mean, we were excited. It took it, as I think as the man and as the provider, I think my husband gets a little nervous just because it's like, okay, this is a whole new life we're adding. This isn't like something nonchalant, like this is a life, and yes, we trust God and his provision and that he will provide. But as the man who goes out every day to work in this crazy economy, knowing you have another life to provide for, I think is just a little, it's a burden, not a burden, it's a weight that he takes very seriously. And so over the next few days, we both talked about it more and we were really excited. And I was nervous, obviously, because my son and my daughter, we didn't have a Christian worldview when my son was born. And they had a big gap. We swore he was going to be our only. We had a really rough experience with his birth. And until he was about 18 months, he was just so sick. And we swore he was going to be our only child because we couldn't do it again. And so then when he was about a little over 2, we decided to try again, got pregnant right away with our daughter. And so this will be my first experience with 2 under 2. And our adjustment to our daughter was really hard. She was very colicky. Never really, I think she had a dairy sensitivity, but even still, she just cried a lot. It was a very hard adjustment for me. I hadn't been a stay-at-home mom when my son was a baby. So now I had only been a stay-at-home mom for about a year when she was born. And having 2 children, my husband only got a week off of work. I had a lot of healing to do after I was born. I was just nervous. I was nervous about having 2 under 2, but I was so excited. I wanted this baby so bad. I really can't even put into words how bad I wanted this baby. And so the days went by. We didn't tell our family right away. I told my brother because he was deployed. And he is deployed, and I wasn't sure when I was gonna get to talk to him again, so I wanna make sure he didn't get left out. I wanted to tell him before, you know, we told everybody else. And we decided that on Thanksgiving, we were gonna tell everyone. At first, I was just gonna do the whole, like, order a shirt, you know, for my daughter that said Big Sister or something, but I didn't order anything in time, so I just decided, I texted my mom and sister-in-law, my brother's wife, who's up here right now, and I said, you know, I need a group picture for something on Thursday, on Thanksgiving, because we were going to, we all have Christmas, we do like draw names for Christmas, so that was an easy enough, believable enough thing, like I need it for something, don't ask me what. and we were going to set up the tripod and just, I was gonna set up a video, act like I was taking a picture and say like, you know, 1, 2, 3, say Maddie's pregnant or something like that. So that was our plan. And I even spent the entire day with my mom. We had to take my daughter to the ER a few weeks ago. She's fine now, but she was pretty sick with some sort of virus, and I was just wanted to get her checked out. So I was so proud of myself. I spent the whole day with my mom and didn't spill the beans, which is hard for me. In the past, I would just have told them when I was like 2 seconds pregnant. But we were just excited to keep it to ourselves for a minute, enjoy our little secret. We hadn't told our son yet, mainly because I didn't want him to spill the beans. But in hindsight, I'm kind of glad we didn't, because he's still only 3, almost 4, and that's hard to understand. So anyway, Tuesday, Monday, the kids and I went out. So at this point I was 5 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Wednesday, oh my gosh, I can't get my words right. Okay. Monday, this past Monday, so November, golly, today's the 25th, or 23rd, 21st. The kids and I went out to do some Christmas shopping. That's our heater again clicking. The kids and I went out Christmas shopping. I needed to find a few more things for some people. We needed to run to the grocery store to get a few things for Thanksgiving. And it was a fun day. We were tired. We got home. I got my daughter down for a nap. I came downstairs and started picking up things, and I went to the bathroom. Didn't even pay attention. Just happened to notice after I had already stood up that there was blood. And so I freaked out, and I called my husband, and I said, you know, I'm bleeding. And he was like, what does that mean? And I said, I don't know. I said, I might be having a miscarriage. And honestly, he said, I don't even know what to say. I'll be home in a minute. He was already off of work and headed home. So he got home, and I just kind of watched. I reached out. So we had a midwife. We had a C-section. I had a C-section with my son. Then we had a VBAC and a birth sitter with my daughter. We were hoping to have a home birth this time. So I'd already contacted the home birth midwife in our area. She was going to come out on December 6th to just talk with us, make sure, you know, we liked each other, it was a good fit, and then we were going to go into care with her. So I didn't know what to do. I texted her, and she had already given me her number and everything, and I said, hey, this is what's going on. I just need some guidance. I don't know what to do. So she told me to call her. The sweetest woman. I really appreciated her just gentleness, and she was so matter of fact, but in the kindest way possible. And she said, this is what it could be. It could be, you know, subchorionic hemorrhage. It could be, it's not implantation, because I had already known. I knew when implantation happened. I felt it literally. And so she was like, you kind of just need to, the best thing to do is to wait it out. She said she would send in an order for an ultrasound for me, but with the holiday, it might be, you know, next week. And it would be kind of hard, even if I went for an ultrasound, to determine viability, because I was so early. Usually they can't detect a heartbeat at 5.5 weeks anyway. So she said it may be better to wait a week and a half to go in, and then you'll know for sure. So I kind of waited. She sent in the ultrasound. I went to bed that night. It seemed like the bleeding was lightening, so I thought, okay, maybe this was just like some sort of subchorionic hemorrhage or something like that. And then the next day, so Tuesday, it picked up. So Monday night I called my mom. I hadn't told anyone we were even pregnant yet, and I called her and told her, hey, I think I might be having a miscarriage, because the bleeding wasn't stopping, but it wasn't really heavy. So I wasn't sure, but I just wanted kind of her support. My mom had a miscarriage. Actually, all my best friends pretty much have had miscarriages, which has made this whole process so much less, like way less lonely. That's why I want to make this video, because I know not everyone has that. Some people, you're the first in your family, you don't really have any family or friends even around to talk to. And I just know that knowing I was not alone, knowing this had happened to people I loved and they were okay and they made it, just gave me so much hope. So I'm telling you now that if you're watching this some years later, I'm okay. I'm okay right now. I'll be more okay in the future, and you'll be okay too. So my mom said, I'll come over in the morning, you know, call me, I'll have my phone on if you need me. And the midwife said the same thing. She said, call me in the middle of the night if you need me. I'm not gonna call you, thank you. So I went to bed, and then the next morning the bleeding was getting heavier, and I was fairly certain I knew what was happening. It was a very surreal process. I don't know how to explain it. Like I've never felt so out of control of my own body. Even with a C-section, things like that. I made that decision to have the C-section. I mean, short of coercement, but whatever. That's a story for another day. I never felt so just frustrated and helpless. And like I couldn't stop what was coming, no matter how bad I wanted to. So my mom came, she helped me, she picked up my house. You know, we hung out for a little bit, and then I called my sister and told her, and she, you know, she stopped by, brought me a coffee. I let my sister-in-law know, and she brought me some things I needed. So the bleeding continued all through Tuesday. Wednesday, my husband actually took my son with him to work, which was the plan anyway, so it really worked out because I was able to literally just lay around all morning once my daughter was down for her nap. So Wednesday morning, some things happened, and I was almost positive I had officially miscarried. This may be sensitive information, but fairly certain I got to see the baby, which was really good for me. It really gave me so much closure to know this is what happened. I don't really have to wonder, and to get to say goodbye. And to not get too political, it just frustrates me so badly to think that people don't see. Even I was not even 5.5 weeks when I'm assuming the baby stopped growing, maybe before that, but it was clear what that was becoming. It was a baby. I mean, obviously it didn't look like a baby, but it was a life, and it was growing, and you could see that. And sometimes there's misinformation spread around about what babies look like at certain stages. I think most people would have known that was becoming a baby, and I told my husband, I said, what stinks is like, I'm so thankful for my children. I'm so thankful I have them to carry me through. I mean, my daughter is just one of the brightest joys of my life. She's the sweetest little baby. And she's really made this a lot easier, but my dog is scratching. I look at her and my son, and I know this baby was going to be like them. Can you knock it off? This baby was going to be their sibling. It was a human. It wasn't a clump of cells. Hey you. Hey you. It wasn't a clump of cells. It was a baby. It was mine and my husband's baby with our DNA and its own DNA already forming into a human child. No matter how small, it was our baby. And so getting to see that and say goodbye really healed, like, part of me, like, almost instantly. So that happened. I'm still, you know, bleeding and stuff, but after that happened, it slowed down significantly, which was just another reason I knew that it, you know, was over. And yeah, so now we're here. Yesterday it was Thanksgiving, and it was a tough day in the morning. it's nice to have the distraction of family, obviously, during all of this, and their support, and get to laugh and get together and have fun. But there is something really hard. You know, my sister-in-law is pregnant, and I love her so much, and I'm so happy for her, but it's hard. You know, you scroll Instagram and you just look at things differently. I looked at the word miscarriage. I look at it so differently now because I've never had to type it so much. I've never had to read the word so much. You know, and it just breaks my heart for people who want a baby so badly, and, you know, all they want is a child of their own, and they suffer this heartbreak over and over again. It's just heartbreaking. But there is hope, and I know that Jesus is the same yesterday and today and forever. I know that he loves me. I know that he would not hurt me. And that is my hope. That is what I want to share with you. Even if you don't know Jesus, he loves you. And there is a hope that can only be found in him. There's a peace that surpasses all understanding in him. I know that it's going to be okay. I know my life is going to be okay. This is hard. This is sad. It sucks, especially right at the holidays, but it's going to be okay. So right now we are just healing and grieving. Men and women grieve differently. I would never expect my husband to respond the way I've responded, but I can look at him and tell this just breaks his heart. Because it was his baby, but because of the hurt that I feel right now. But it will be okay. There's my heater again. Obviously it's a little chilly in here because that thing keeps kicking on. Having a miscarriage at the holidays is really tough, but with such a focus, I need to wait until that's done. With such a focus on the hope of Jesus at this time of year, it makes it a little more bearable. Everywhere I turn right now, there's reminders that God is good. He keeps his promises. He loves us enough to send his one and only son into the world to die for us, who was completely blameless and sinless and perfect. And if he cares enough about us to send Jesus for us, he cares about me. He cares about my hurt. He sees me hurting, and he is still good. He is still going to take care of us. Yeah, it's going to be okay. I hope that this wasn't too much of a downer. Really, I'm okay. I've actually not been this emotional all day. I woke up and today was a good day. I feel better today than I have in the last few days, as far as like physically, like not feeling really just cramping and exhausted. I think just reliving it, but you know, detail by detail is kind of tough, obviously, but I'm okay. Like, I will be okay. Every day I'm going to be more okay. I have such an amazing support system. And even though my sister does, hasn't experienced this, praise God, she has not walked through this. She is there for me. I know she hurts because I'm hurting. All my best friends understand. And they've been through it, and they can just, when someone can empathize with your pain, it just brings so much more peace. It brings so much comfort, because it's not someone saying it's going to be okay who does not understand. And you can't be angry with that person because their life, they haven't had to feel this heartbreak, because I would never want anyone to feel this, but it is hard to see other people, are pregnant or are announcing they're pregnant, or, just gave birth to a baby. And it's hard not to feel like resentment. Not that I resent them, but you get what I'm saying. It's just sad when you've lost something that you were supposed to have too. You were supposed to have that too, and now it's gone. And there's no getting it back. It's hard. But to have people in your life who get it, it just really, really helps. And it's so comforting. So that's what I wanted to do in sharing this. Not to like make you feel sorry for me. I'm okay. I'm fine. Well, I'm not fine, but I'm okay, and I'm gonna be more okay. But if you're watching this and you are feeling the same heartbreak, I'm so sorry. And you are not alone. And we will be okay. So anyway, I'm gonna wrap up this sad video, but I appreciate you guys watching. I'm sure this was not easy to watch, and I'm so sorry if this brought up, you know, feelings from things you've experienced. But I think it's important we talk about these things. It's so common. 1 in 4 pregnancies, 1 in 4 women, I don't know what the statistic is, whether it's 1 in 4 pregnancies, 1 in 4 women will have a miscarriage. And you just don't really think about it. You don't think it's gonna happen to you. And then it does. And you kind of have to figure it out. You have to figure out how to move on. You have, not move on, but you have to figure out how to cope. That's the right word. And it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be angry, but we have to know that we are loved and we are taken care of by someone who knows way more about our life and our future than we could possibly even imagine. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support and encouragement and love. I really, really appreciate it. So anyway, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.